Welcome to a quick session on how to convert an existing HTML JavaScript application to a SharePoint framework app part. I am assuming that you have already learned how to create a SharePoint app part using the Visual Studio Code and you have the setup ready. It is very simple. Just download the node and the necessary tools to generate the SharePoint framework code and you can start running them using GulpServe. So the focus of this particular session is to get your HTML page ready with the CSS JavaScript and then you can import that into SharePoint framework. So we will discuss on how you can convert the HTML code to a SharePoint framework code. So what are the steps? First, get your JavaScript HTML code ready. Do a thorough testing on your existing JavaScript code and make sure it functions as per your needs. Then create a new framework project, for example, Tango SpFX project. Then copy and paste the CSS and JavaScript. And we will discuss various approaches on how to import the CSS and JavaScript. I'll try to keep it as simple as possible. Then finally inject the code in the right place in the TypeScript web part file. So let's get started. We'll first start by looking at the HTML file. So I'm just having a simple HTML page where I have some CSS for a button and for the div, and I'm writing an animation script using JavaScript where after some delay it is going to change the color of the background and also change the style and display the items starting from 0 to 9. So it is, and I'll just write the code, and I've written the code in Animate Tango, and when I click the button it is going to call the Animate Tango. So let me just refresh this page. Now when I click this button, it is just displaying one by one in 1 second delay some items. Probably later we can expand this to a SharePoint list item. For now we will just see how we can just put this HTML script into a SharePoint app part. So we have a button and we have this particular box which is displaying the items using a JavaScript. So this is shown in an app part. So I've already have the app part running where I've added the web part, and on clicking the items are displayed. So we will go ahead and see how this can be done in SharePoint framework. We look at the existing application first. So I have the Tango webpart.ts and I've created a Tango CSS file, and you can put that in a different folder as per your needs. And I've created a JS folder also, and the code is pasted and we have applied that and it's running. So probably we'll just start from the scratch again. So if you want to create a new project, you create a new folder using MD, and once you create a new folder, you go inside that folder and you need to call u@Microsoft/SharePoint. However, that takes a lot of time, so I'm just skipping that. I'm opening up an existing project. So I'm going to an existing Tango CSS projects and I'm trying to modify that now. I'll open the code using code dot and it should launch the Visual Studio Code. So for now it has some existing code and I was trying to change the CSS once using the SCSS technique, but that is a little complicated and sometimes it's not working properly. So let's keep things simple and we will just try to load the custom CSS and the JSS using the simple require attribute and import. So if we have any custom styles, we can make the changes here and we can refer that. So once your code is done, you do gulp serve and run the project. So for our demo, what we'll do, we'll just remove all the code and we'll do things one by one now. So first we'll try to add the new CSS file. So we are inside the CSS Tangu one where we have the TS file. So we'll try to create the new CSS here itself, tangu.css, and we have the CSS here. So we'll copy paste the CSS from the HTML application over here. And what we can do is, if you want to access them without any custom name, style name, you just put the global variable and you can access them without using any custom name dot CSS name. So using this technique, you can actually access the variable. Now there are two techniques. So you can actually directly call the CSS, or we can refer that in the JSON file. We have a JSON file and we can refer the CSS link there and use that also. So we go ahead now to the TS file and we'll just say require of /tangu.css. So now we have referred the CSS file. You can try without the global also and see if it works. If that works, that's also fine. With the global variable, you don't have to use a custom style name for your code in the div tag. So let's go ahead and look at the JavaScript code, which is inside the script tag. So we'll copy paste all that except the button click, and we'll paste that in a custom JS file. So we go to CSS1, we'll call tangu.js and we'll just copy paste that code. So nothing much, so I've just pasted that code and the JS is done. Now we'll go ahead and refer the JS file. So you write something inside the externals, inside the config.js file. We give a name, for example, Tangu script. Then we just give the path and the global name. So we give path. So the path should be something like src, and we are in the web paths, and we are the web paths CSS Tangu1 /tangu.js. Then we can give the global name as Tangu script. So once this is done, we can go ahead and refer that by using require Tangu script. So, and CSS we referred by using require /tangu.css, and I've just removed the global. Without that also it's working. In case it doesn't work, you can use the global variable as mentioned before. Next, we have to go ahead and copy the HTML part. So we have the div ID, we have the class, and we have the header element input box. And instead of calling from JS the click event, I'm just trying to call it directly using on click event here. So I'll just copy paste that code inside the render part. So I've just pasted that code, and in the on click I'm just calling the JavaScript code. And once that is done, we can call the gulp serve and we wait for the project to launch. So the local workbench opens and I'll just call CSS Tangu, and on clicking this, the same HTML functionality is called, where for each item the background color changes a little bit and the items are displayed one by one. So as a quick summary, we just copy the CSS file, CSS contents into a CSS file. We imported that using the require /tangu.css, and you don't really need the global variable, but in case it doesn't work, you can try the global variable. And JavaScript, you create a new tangu.js, and you have to refer that in the appropriate location by adding an entry in the external section in the config.js file, and you import that using required tango script or the name which you gave in the config.js. Then you add the HTML in the render method, and you call the method directly or using a separate click method inside the render, and you do the gulp serve, and you should be able to see the output as you have seen in the HTML page, and you're good to go. So this is very powerful because you can start working on any HTML or JS idea and impart that inside your SharePoint app parts. Hope this helps you in your SharePoint development. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any queries, please email spthangu@gmail.com, and take care. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.